Hey guys, what's up? I hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to the new story of r/relationship advice. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for new future videos. Let's get started. Cheers.
Stories in today's video. 1. 1 year update. My girlfriend, F20, cheated on me, M21, with her best friend. 2. Wife cheated on me while I was putting out a fire. During the summer break, my girlfriend cheated on me with her best friend, all the while keeping me in the dark and the general communication was zero. We came back to college and I started hearing dumb things and excuses that lead to fights like, you kiss differently, you've changed, you're not who you were. I haven't changed a bit, it's just that something felt off. One day we had an event in college and we had a lot of fun. The same night I got a call from her. She was crying and she told me how she cheated on me with her best friend for about 3 months. She told me how she realized she truly loved me. I don't like shouting on people or fighting, so I immediately cut the call and didn't want to talk further. She started bombarding me with calls. I picked up one call and told her that I didn't want to talk right now and was in no mood to discuss this further. She kept calling me. Now her friends also joined in. I was getting messages and calls left and right. She was crying and not eating. Finally I had to pick up the call. She was crying profusely and asking me why I wasn't talking to her. She kept saying I love you, but I couldn't bring myself to reciprocate. I told her I wanted to break up, but that blew the lid off her and she started crying very loudly. I somehow convinced her to eat something and not cry. She kept saying she only wanted me and nothing else. But my trust was shattered. She made me meet her the next day, although I didn't want to. I told her I wanted a break and it'll be a long time before I was normal again. She just kept crying and asking me not to do this. She kept saying I love you, don't do this, etc. After a while I thought maybe I was being too dramatic, and told her I can't trust her anymore. She said she would do anything. I could only tell her I can't do this. She kept pushing me. Me and my ex were really good friends. We broke up on mutual terms and would talk once in a while. She had a problem with talking to my ex and made me block her. Finally I asked her to choose between me or her best friend. I'm not someone who does something like this. She used to hang out with him and leave me behind, talk to him and not answer my calls at times, but I trusted her fully. She said she wants to be with me. She made it a point to show me she blocked him. It was all well and good until about a week later when I saw she was talking to him on Instagram. I was hurt. I had started to trust her again to some degree. I immediately confronted her and she blocked him again, but I wasn't having any of it. She started crying and begging me. After a lot of this I still agreed to be with her. Now yesterday, again I saw this guy's chats, never checked her phone. She was showing me something on Instagram and confronted her about it immediately. She started telling me how her friend was becoming suicidal and this and that. I called the guy directly and talked to him in front of her and told both of them that I wasn't okay with it and that she will have to choose. Now somehow my girlfriend told me I was being controlling by asking her to choose, and at this point I had had enough. I asked her to take her stuff and go to her hostel. I have a flat. She lives in the hostel. Now I thought talking to one of her friends who was quite reasonable was a good idea. I called her friend up in front of her and she told my girlfriend to do what she thought was right. Then she took the phone off the speaker and I was like, this involves me, I would like to listen. At this point she started leaving the room. She had already packed her stuff, so in anger I told her that if you leave just don't come back. At this point she made up her mind about the breakup and proceeded to take her stuff and walk out the door. It was pretty late at night and I didn't want to let her go in an unsafe situation. I chased after her and said I'd give her a ride. She refused, but I insisted. Finally she agreed. At this point she had told her friends and her best friend that we've broken up. But during the ride she held on to me and started crying, asking me if we were really doing this. I didn't have an answer. What do I do? TLDR. GF cheated on me with her best friend but still talking to him behind my back and against my wishes, so I wanted to provide an update and thank my fellow Redditors. I took the advice and broke up and realized that the relationship was really sucking the life out of me and was the worst thing in my life at the moment. Since then I have met someone who understands me and cares for me. There's no drama. Well, I once ate the last pizza slice and she got pretty angry, but yeah, that's the level of the drama. We support each other and she makes me a better human all around. Because of my ex I wasn't able to focus on my studies, and the breakup combined with the COVID pandemic gave me ample time for studying, and I landed an internship at a big bulge bracket company, and also I am working on a few personal projects that I love spending time on. The pandemic also gave me time to realize that I was with the wrong person and I love many others who love me, be it my family, friends, etc. I feel really liberated. Today I was looking back at what used to be and I remembered that this subreddit for the trigger point for the change in my life. So thank you, and you all are awesome. It's because of you I've gone from crying nights to happy days. Edit 1. Some edits based on comments. Edit 2. Holy smokes. I didn't expect such a reaction. Thanks guys. Edit 3. Such wholesome comments. Thanks guys. TLDR. 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 This will be long as it happened a few years ago, and I just finally felt like sharing it after reading many stories and experiences here. It's my hope my story will help someone else survive cheating. I was married nearly 20 years to my ex-wife. I was a professional firefighter before we met. I began my career when I graduated high school at 17 and enrolled in fire academy with a parent waiver. I'm a fourth-generation fireman, and throughout our marriage, working my way as high as battalion chief before requesting demotion back to rescue captain of my department's rescue squad, since that was where all my certifications etc. were in. Once Christmas Eve we received a call for a structure fire at an apartment building. When we got on scene there was 18 residents unaccounted for. We began rescue ops, and in one unit I found a young husband and wife, got them out, and as a tender changed my air bottle, the young woman sitting with medics began screaming, my baby, my baby. I ran up to her and asked her, ma'am, what kind of baby? Am I looking for dog, cat, human, or what? All she said was my baby over and over, so I ran back in. A short time later I emerged with an infant. As I made my way out, something inside the building blew, sending debris everywhere. I was hit in the back by a piece of wood like a giant splinter. I somehow still made it to the triage area, handed off the baby, and collapsed. That was when the splinter was found, sticking out of me. I was helicoptered to a trauma center. While on the way IP*SSED away twice and revived, I was taken in for emergency surgery. The splinter had nicked my heart and I was dying. My wife was called by my crew and told of what happened, and she told my crew that she was not coming. She had better things to do than to worry about my ploy for her attention and how I was using my job to try and get into her panties. I was in the hospital for 30 days as they would not release me until they were sure I was healed enough to return home in a very rural area about 60 miles from where I worked in a real hospital. When I was released I tried to get my wife to pick me up. She told me she didn't have time to make that drive. I had to beg for a ride home, and when I finally found one through one of my crewmates, he accompanied me into my house, making sure I was okay and not alone. We walked through my home looking for my wife since her minivan was in the driveway. When I opened our bedroom door I collapsed to my knees as my crewman came up behind me and shouted, "WTF are you doing?" We opened my bedroom door to find my wife in bed. She had a man under her in her kitty, another behind her in her butt, and a third in her mouth. At first the thing that hit me most was the one in her butt and mouth, things she never did with me and that I had never tried at all, claiming I was too big and would gag her or hurt her. My friend helped me up. He took me out, then went in and gathered me some clothes to take. He took me to another friend's home where we explained what had transpired. Later on, the friend with me when I caught her told me when he went in to get things for me, the ex and her boy toys never stopped what they were doing and he took cell phone video without them noticing. A few days later my friends helped me find a lawyer and started the divorce process. Luckily our kids were already adults now, so we didn't have that battle in divorce to put our kids through, because in court I learned that everyone in our friends group was getting some of my wife except me. She openly admitted to doing every man in town to the judge, and how I was nothing but a paycheck, and how she always hoped I'd die in the line of duty and she'd get that $1 million life insurance we had if I was killed on the job. When we met and throughout life she was always sweet and naive. She was a little slow in many things, but when her mom lost everything and moved in with us for a while, that's when my wife began to change. Her mom didn't live in the same house the entire time, as we bought a small building and turned it into a little cottage on the back end of our property so we could have our privacy. Once I moved her mom out back is when I noticed the changes in her. It was hard for me to notice red flags etc., as I was the only one working and I would work 48 on and 24 off. The normal is 24 on 48 off, but because she refused to work I had to work double and even at times a second job to support 5 of us by myself. Wife, 2 kids, Mill and myself. Since catching her, the home has been sold and everything split that was mutual property divided, sold and split, etc. My crew rallied around me, being there to help me when needed as well as to help me try to fight my way back to duty status, as well as be there when I need someone to talk to and so on. Most of these men and women on my crew lived in the city we worked in, so it was an hour drive at least each way to *SSIST me. I worked my *SS off to get my career back. I wanted to hit the 35 years of service mark, then retire. When it came time to do my physical etc. to return to duty, IP *SSED, but was subsequently called into the chief's office where I was told, "Captain, you have two choices. One, you can retire now at 30 years and keep your full pension and benefits, or two, we will medically retire you and you get half." I stuttered, but IP *SSED my return to duty tests. The answer I received was, "Captain, you are one of not the best fire rescue specialist I have ever known, but your age, your injury history, and your recent diagnosis of PTSD coupled with bipolar, the insurance company will no longer cover you due to high risk. So do you have a decision?" I retired and left heartbroken and defeated. When my now ex-wife found out, she began tormenting me over it all, trying to drive me to suicide as my guess, but instead of letting her win, I left the area, began working in animal rescue to help *SS time. It was the lowest point of my life. Living in an RV trailer running an animal rescue, and no one would give me a job. Sure, I didn't need to work, but I needed something to do. I swore off women, except for my sister firefighter. I didn't socialize or date etc. for a long time. I thought I would never be in a relationship again. I didn't know if I could ever trust anyone ever again. Then it happened. I began playing what I guess you would call once of those MMORP games where I met a woman. We would chat, eventually exchanged numbers etc. Then 18 months later she decided she wanted to meet me, telling me, "No way, you're a perv or anything, because no one is going to invest this long to pick a target." This made me laugh harder than I ever had in my life. I'll be honest, I was reluctant at first because we had a 20-year age gap, plus we were different races. Where I live, interracial relationships are still shunned. Yes, it's Redneckville, USA, and basically still the Stone Age in many ways here, but I agreed to meet her. I can say it was the best decision of my life. She was everything I could dream of and more. She was old-fashioned like me. She was raised and believed a woman's number one job was her spouse and family, not money and a career. I have no problem with a working woman, but regardless, man or woman, family should always come before career or anything else. I guess it's kind of ironic in some way. I lost my dad to the Vietnam War, and here I am now married to a Vietnamese woman, expecting our first child November of 2021. Cheating is horrible and maybe the worst thing we can go through. But please remember, it is not the end of the world. Nor are all men or women the same as your cheating spouse. The keys are: make time for you, get help, and find yourself again. Take you time, and remember something better is out there looking for you too. Suicide is never an answer. Giving up should not be an option. You are strong, you can do it. A life can be rebuilt and become a newer, better one. Remember, life and love will always find a way. Find a way, 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 find a way.